And welcome back to the Rock of Cair, Bryn. We are back. And we have all three of our characters here with us this evening. So let's start off with introduction, shall we? Anthony, welcome.
Hello, I am Anthony, and I play Bart, the most boring pikeman ever.
And Austin.
Hi, I'm Austin, and I play Shin, fun druid. We'll see.
Fun.
Fun druid.
Fun druid. All right. And Tamara.
Hi, I'm Tamara and I play Pree, Paladin.
Apparently also a traveling salesman. Um, all right.
That was the original plan.
I mean,
John.
I know, but then you said I want to be able to do this and this, and I said, well, a paladin does that and that, and you said okay. So I just, I mean, you gotta, you know, it's fine. You're not gonna be attached to a temple very long. Like I'm just saying. All
Does
right,
that mean you're gonna kill her?
I'm gonna kill her. Is that what you just said? No,
You
Yeah.
almost did already.
you're a level 1 character. You're squishy. All right.
My God. First session, -8 hit points.
To be fair, me and Anthony almost went down in our first sessions too. But we had,
Yeah, I had to heal myself.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, actually, you guys both healed yourselves, and Tamara didn't do that at all. So that'd be why. That's the only reason why they didn't go down, and you did. So
I didn't realize I had that option.
yeah, you actually have a heal spell you can do called Lay on Hands. The only problem with it is it takes an action, so you can only do that. So, but if you
And then you just would have stabbed me with another orc, so whatever.
I mean, true. It's not wrong. All right. So with that, we last time had Pree on the road. She was traveling with the Memorialist, who was dealing with some cultists who were invading and raiding a library, looking for answers on something called Cair Bryn. Uh, and meanwhile, a young man is traveling in a boat on his way to Tanis, and as he passes into the territory, he will travel down this river for quite a ways. It starts to widen out as more rivers kind of combine into one, and eventually you will see, as described last time, the land sort of open up, become much more pastoral, and then farmland, and there are orchards, and it leads to a major city, major for this area anyway, um, called Tanis. And as you arrive, the busy hustle and bustle of the daily grind is going on. There are ships coming into the port. It is a bay city on the edge of the ocean on the West Sea, and it is and has been for the last 300 years a major center of trade for the area. And many ships come from the south, from the seacoast, and from the West Ren, and all of the cities, towns, and villages in between. And this is, like I said, a hustle bustling center. As you arrive, the one thing you will notice is the people there. Some of them look a little different than most of the humans you've seen, most of whom appear very very different in appearance than normal. I just said that, but we'll reinstate that, I guess. They have slightly raised eyebrows. There's not everybody's like that, but you'll see a few anyway. And it's, like I said, fairly busy, fairly consistently occupied. What would you like to do?
The guy that I was on the boat with. Um, did I get his name? I know I talked to him a little bit, but
I'm going to be honest with you. You probably did, and I cannot remember his name.
I don't
So,
have it written down. So maybe I
so
didn't
maybe
even
you
ask.
didn't. we'll say
Uh,
it. We'll say it's Jimbo.
Jimbo. As we're docking, I'll say, "Thank you, Jimbo. This is very kind of you."
He nods and says, "You're all right with me, lad. If there's anything else you need, let us know. If you need a drive back."
Uh, Maybe I wanna. I'm gonna meet with the Memorialist, but I just know she's in the city. Do you know where she's at?
Uh, I mean, I would assume she's probably meeting with either the city council or off for Eden somewhere like she usually does.
Okay, I'll try to check it. The city council first.
Okay.
Do they have a building?
Oh yeah, there's like administration buildings all across the city.
All right,
And mhm.
Jimbo, you were a good riding partner, man. You showed me a lot of sights that I wouldn't have seen. Thanks.
Smiles. He reaches into the bottom of the boat. He reaches into a what looks to be a canvas bag, and he tosses you an apple. And he says,
Oh,
"One for the road."
Jimbo, I'll never forget you.
He smiles at that and just kind of acknowledges you, gives you a wave, and says, "Take care of yourself."
Uh, you too, and I'll see you next time I'm in Veilguard.
Indeed, you'll come by anytime. We take you down the other river, maybe.
Yeah. Show me the other sights. See ya.
Yes. Bye. And you see him talking to a couple of the other people on the boat. It's a very small boat, if you remember, barely bigger than a canoe. So it's like just like 3 or 4 people max would fill the whole thing. So there's only like him and his son and one other fellow who's from the port who's gotten off to help them get their produce out, and they are carrying it into town and into the marketplace.
All right. I'll make sure my hood is up, hair tied back, hood up,
Okay.
and I'll start making my way towards the city council and have me a little apple on the way.
Munching away. All right, you arrive at a tall building. It is, I mean, it's not like it's massive, like a major city capital kind of thing, but it's like a tall structure, maybe 2 stories, with a steeple in the middle, uh, fairly well decorated, but not like overabundant. It looks old, and you can see within it the normal beams and things that they look like they haven't been that they've been fashioned rather than cut. And it looks to you like as if there's been magic used to form the wood into these shapes, and that it rather than it being that these trees were cut down and then brought in here, it looks like they're actually still growing, but are effectively growing in the shape that they've been dedicated towards. So they don't really get much bigger, but they are very strong and thick, and you sense the magic coming from them.
As I walk past them, I like drag my fingers across them, like just to feel them.
And they feel kind of a little warm and homey, I guess. It would remind you of the Prashina folks area because it's kind of a similar type of building design. And your guess is, what's that?
I'll smile just as I do it, like look at the trees as I'm touching them and smile.
Fair enough. And
All right.
all right, so they are basically, I guess, as you're moving there, you'll see There is a young lady who's sitting at a desk. She is shuffling some papers. She's kind of sitting at the end of a foyer. You kind of see that she'd be like an equivalent to a receptionist. And she's marking some notes and looking at some other ones. It almost looks like she's doing sums, would be your guess. And she is not paying any attention to you. You can actually see her mouthing counting while she's doing this.
I'll walk up and I'll try to wait until it looks like she takes a break. Like I don't want to mess up her count, basically. So if it looks like she's about to write something down, like she's finally finished this stack and now she's gonna go ahead and write it down and take a break, then I'll be like, "Excuse me, ma'am."
The lady looks up at you and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Can I help you?"
Hey, no problem, no problem. Yeah, I'm just looking for the Memorialist. Is she here?
Well, she was last night for sure. Let me go talk to one of our clerks and see if he knows anything further. She was helping out with the problem we had at the library.
Oh, would she still be there from last night, or
Possibly.
maybe she went today?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I've been doing my numbers. It's end of the month, so I'm trying to get everything ready for the new for clarification's sake, taxes and things of that nature.
Yeah, I wouldn't know a thing about it, but I know what you mean. You were busy.
Indeed, but if you want to go check at the library and see if she might still be around there, it is just east of the market.
Okay, I'll try that. What was your name again, ma'am?
Yes, Austin. My name is Gina.
Gina. Like put my hand out for hers.
She kind of looks at her hand. It's covered in like ink and things, and she grasps yours, covering her hand in a bit of ink.
Pull it up and give her a little kiss on her hand. Even if it got ink on my mouth, I don't care. Happens.
She looks at you really weird and brings her hand back in and says, "Thank you." And
nice to meet you, Gina. And then I leave.
And she smiles and says, "Good to meet you too, sir."
She don't know my name.
Nope, she don't.
I go to the market.
She probably doesn't care. All right. Okay. So from where you're at, the market's probably about 10-minute walk from where you're standing. As you walk through the market, you'll see all sorts of craziness going on, as you'd imagine. As the early morning, people are setting up and getting everything ready. It's like you get assaulted by smell. That's the biggest thing. Like so much of it's food from across the area. So like fish that's been salted and some of it's still freshly caught earlier in the morning or brought up. There's meat that's hanging up on hooks and things. So you see and smell that as you enter the area. And then, of course, there's baskets of fruit and vegetables as well. And then, of course, various tinkering wares. And one of the gentlemen you see is this, he's a darker looking gentleman, and he's setting up, and he looks over at you as you come in and says, "Hey, what can I get for you? You interested in anything?"
I look at him. What's he got? What is he?
He's got all sorts of little trinkets everywhere. He's got little vials, little like symbols and statues and all sorts of little things like that, rings and things. And
I'll come over and I'll say, I don't have much money, sir, but what do you got?
I have all of this. Money is only an object in discussion. You know this, right?
Right.
So you point to me what you think is something you might be have interest in, and maybe we talk.
I look down and look back and forth, and I point to one of the rings.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And he says, try it on.
I look at him, look back at the ring.
Oh, I have nothing magical, sir. These are all just purely rings.
And okay. I'll pick it up and try it on.
Okay. It's a ring. It's kind of copper, bronze in color. Looks a bit tarnished, but seems fine otherwise.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. And I take it off, put it back, look around. Do you have any earrings?
He points to a box and says, and these are some of my finest examples. And there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things in there. Fish hooks and like actual little loops and hoops. And then there's like, the fancier style ones with like intricate designs in them.
Are there any hoops that are like a dark color, either a dark purple or a dark, like a steel, something like that?
Roll a perception check.
Okay.
Which means now I have to actually bring that screen up.
9.
Well, you don't really notice anything quite to that description. I mean, there are darker ones in there, but nothing exactly like what you're looking for.
All right. I'll take one of the darker silverish looking colors.
Okay. He
How
hands
much
it.
for this?
He takes it from you, looks it over. You see, he kind of tap it against his teeth for a little bit, and he says, 2 silver, sir. That's cheap, really. I mean, this is silver after all. Solid.
I bring out one of my pouches and look in it and see that there's not a lot. I say, maybe this isn't a good idea, but money's just an object, right? And I just take 2 silver, hand it to him.
He smiles and says, thank you. You are a great customer. I must say, you people in this area are very, very generous. I am very happy. And he says, I look forward to the rest of this day, if it is even close to this.
Well, I hope you have a good day. What was your name again?
My name is Petrov.
Petrov. Nice to meet you, Petrov.
And he smiles and says, it is good to meet you. If you ever come my way, I always have things that are of interest for some peoples. In fact, I sold a young man a little reward yesterday. He was most pleased with it, a little pendant.
A pendant?
Yes.
Of what?
Oh, it's a little eye thing I picked up on some round I did down by the seacoast.
Huh? I hope the rest of the day is fruitful for you.
And may the bringer of life shine on you as always.
May the bringer of death stay herself.
Indeed, my friend, indeed. Long may she stay away. And he goes back to basically calling for people to come and, yelling at people as they walk by. It's like, hey, you want this, don't you? Blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing, as I assume you walk away.
Yep. And I kind of stay to the sides, like the side of the street. Or if I can take back alleys, I'll do that as well.
Okay.
But I won't hide, but I'll casually stroll.
Okay. So you come upon this massive building. It actually looks way more, not older, but a lot sturdier structure. A lot more has gone into it. A lot more money has been poured into it. And, but you can also see that the doors are broken. The one large door is hanging kind of on the last of its hinges. The other door looks to be in shreds on the ground, and you can see people going in and out of it, and some of them are carrying what looks to be the remains of scrolls and books, and others are kind of tut-tutting about various things. And there's a young lady wearing armor standing there, looking around, just kind of looking at everybody as they pass by, kind of making sure
She
nothing
looked
else happens.
She looked like a authority figure or somebody that works here.
Well, you can tell she's a paladin, so you would assume so.
I walk up to her. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
What's going on? Is something wrong with the library?
It was broken into and ransacked over the last couple of days.
That's awful.
Indeed, it was.
By any chance, did the Memorialist happen to be in there?
She was. We actually received her help last night with a couple of other people from outside of town. They were able to chase off the intruders.
Oh, well, that's good at least. Is she still here?
I'm afraid not. She's headed to a village to the northeast of here.
Shin will kind of sigh, and, like take a step back and put his hand on his head. I just missed her again.
Oh, have you been looking for her long?
Not too long. Just today. Well, a couple of days, but I've only been in the city for today.
Well, I mean, she might come back this way, but if you want, I can give you instructions on how to get to the village.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just go try to track her down than wait. 'Cause from
Fair.
what I've seen, she's traveling a lot, at least these days.
Yeah, she gets out and about unless she's on a deep study.
If I can get closer, I'm sure I can find her, but...
Indeed. If you go north, there's a road that travels out of the city across the river, and it heads towards Kiln Bay. If you take that and then turn east, you'll go towards a small village called Pentra,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where she is trying to help them with a issue with some cultists,
Okay.
as I understand.
Thank you. I
You're
will.
welcome.
I will go try to find her. What was your name again?
Her name is what was her first name? I can only remember her last name. Give me 2 seconds. I'll bring it up. No, not that one. I love how you write down every one of these names like I'm going to remember every person. I've written some random blah blah.
Oh, if
but
you don't, I will.
I know you. I know. Banya Gwent is her name.
Thank you, Miss Gwent.
And she says
If our
Banya will do.
Oh, thank you, Banya. I hope our paths cross again.
And you as well, sir. What is your name?
My name is Shin.
Okay. Thank you. Have a safe travel.
Hold down the fort.
She sighs a bit and says, yeah, after the fact, but yeah.
Yeah, I wave as I go, and I will try to find a way to get to Kiln Bay.
Okay.
And move to Petra from there.
Do you have any money?
Not a lot.
Okay, I'm going to give you two options. You can either rent a horse, effectively, which will cost you about 2 gold, or you can try and catch on with a caravan heading north.
How long will it take? Like, do I get any kind of sense of? Like, do I get any kind? From talking to people? Will they tell me like how long does it take to get to here from Kiln Bay from here or to Petra from here?
They're you'll eventually find enough people to give you fair good guidance, and it's basically about half a day's ride to Kiln Bay, and maybe another couple hours beyond that to Petra.
Okay, I'll try to catch on to a caravan.
Okay, so there is a merchant caravan heading north. They're going to Kiln Bay. They are headed basically back to Veilguard, but they're going to go up to Kiln Bay and then take a ship that way. So
Okay.
you can get that far anyhow. But yeah, I mean, this is like the end of the world sort of area, so the only way is east, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to shack up with them. Nope, not shack up. Roll out with them.
Okay. He's going to shack up. Okay, so you gather on with them. As you do, we will turn now to Bart. Hello, Bart.
Hello.
All right, Bart. So you are with the Memorialist in Petra. She and you and Gareth have assembled in town and are riding out back to Taunus. And as they go, the Memorialist looks at you and says, I have another colleague who's camped out of town. We need to go pick her up first. Or should I say them up first?
Hey man, you told me to come. I'm just here, so cool.
She nods and says, excellent. And as always, appreciated. And she leads on, and you eventually come to a small camp just outside of town, not far off of the beaten path. And you see Pree. Bart, can you describe yourself once more to the fine people?
Oh, average height, brown hair. I think at this point he probably has somewhat of a beard. Just brown eyes. Like I said, like the most boring kind of typical guardsman you can think of. He's holding a pike in one hand, and that's all he has. You'll notice that that's literally all he has, and he's just
That's
sitting.
not all he has now, remember.
Oh, sorry, and he has a sword. He doesn't. He treats it as if it's not there, but yeah, he's holding it, and he's on top of the horse, I guess. And he's just kind of looking around, bored.
Fair enough. All right. So, Pree, you see this young man coming in with those two, and the Memorialist looks at you and says, everything seems to be tickety-boo. Are you, I have heard that there's someone coming to see me, and depending on what his information is, I may have further need for you if you are willing.
You pay me?
She nods.
Okay. I go where the wind blows.
Fair enough. And she looks at Gareth and says, I received a messenger pigeon this afternoon saying that there's a young fellow of interesting origin headed this way. So I think we should try and intercept him. Apparently headed out of town on a merchant's caravan. And Gareth looks at you two and says, well, mother, you know me. I go where you go. She grimaces at the mother comment and says, you can stop that right now. We are not around other people. And he laughs.
I say, when she says we're not around other people, I just say, what?
We're not people?
She, briefly looks at you two and says, well, other people who
Care.
care. Yeah, that's the right word.
Fair.
And she crosses her arms at Gareth, and Gareth giggles. And he says, all right, Red, we go where you go, as always. And she says, right, let's try and intercept him, shall we? So they hop on the horses that they have, and as you guys join them, they cross the river and head towards Kiln Bay. And you guys travel pretty much 3-4 hours. Well, not 3-4, I said 2, right? So about 2 hours, and you arrive in Kiln Bay probably within about an hour after the caravans arrived. And so the caravan currently is loading up stuff onto a boat, a larger boat than what you saw before, Shin, but still a large kind of river passenger boat that carries material across the continent. And they bid you farewell, and you receive 3 copper as payment for helping to guard the caravan. And yeah. Anything else you want to do before we move on? Shin.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were still talking to them.
No. I'm talking to you. You're the one who got into town with the caravan. You got your 3 copper.
Yeah, so I paid them 3 copper, you said?
No. They paid you.
Oh, they paid me?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I'll thank them. And then, yeah, just be on my way. If I know Petra is supposed to be to the north of here, is that right? Or is it the east? East.
Yeah, you basically, if you look at the map, I'll bring it up. Hang on. I just realized you might not see it right now. In Roll20, I believe you are not on the right screen. That's why. So in Roll20, you can actually see the map.
Okay. Kiln Bay, and I'm going to Petra. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll start heading that way. I'll follow the river.
Okay. As you leave town and are getting, or I should say, getting at the edge of town, you'll see a horse, 4 horses with riders coming towards you, one of whom has very copper red hair, and another is an older soldier, looks like he's probably in his 40s, maybe 50s, and a couple of other people with him, both of whom look very young, and I mean, as we've heard them described.
Do I recognize this as the mother at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know who this is.
I'll look up and put a hand up and say, Mother.
And as she closes in, the Memorialist looks at you and says, Son, what can I do for you? You are far from home.
I am. I've been looking for you.
So I've heard.
From who?
The young lady that you met at Taunus sent me a messenger bird earlier this morning.
Well,
I should say this afternoon when I got it.
Well, good. So you know that I need to talk to you.
Indeed. What do you need to tell me?
I kind of look around. Is there somewhere maybe we can go? This is it's kind of important, and it's kind of big, like world altering big.
She
Could
says,
be.
Well, I mean, the moons are blue. looking up meaningfully. So there's lots of signs of all sorts of things these days. All right, well, we could set up camp here, or we can go into the village or into the town if you want and find a room.
I'm just as comfortable in the wilderness as I am in a room, so it's up to you and your patrons.
She looks at the other two. She knows what Cair thinks about the whole thing, but she looks at the other two of you and kind of gives you a look of, what do you think?
I look at her and say, I can't begin to express how much I don't care.
Horseback, dirt, bed, whatever.
Right. Well, with that stirring line of support, how about we get off the beaten path, shall we?
I'll nod and I'll start making my way in the
Out
woods.
of there, into the woods, making bedrolls and da. Okay, so you guys move off of the path. You end up in kind of an area of forest. Still kind of orchardy, not really like, wildwood sort of area, but still it's covered. People wouldn't necessarily see much of what's going on. And she kind of points at a couple of logs and says, "Have a seat, you guys." All right, young man, if you are young. What's your name?
I look around at everybody and I say, "My name is Shin."
She nods at the older man and says, "Well, that's Gareth. And that one there is Pree. And this one over here," pointing over at Bart, says, "His name's Bart. He doesn't really care about a lot of things, but he might be useful."
I'll nod.
When she says might be useful, I go, yeah, and I kind of do the wiggle of my hand kind of thing.
Bart, this what I'm gonna say may even make you raise a few eyebrows.
Oh, I doubt it, but go ahead.
I look back to the Memorialist and I'll say, I received a vision a few nights ago. Actually, more than a few nights ago. Over a month ago. And I saw your predecessor, Amber.
She kind of startles when you say Amber's name.
She was, I guess, investigating these evil magic users that were messing with this rock she called Cair Bryn.
When you say that, again, she starts, and the name will ring a bell for at least two people in this area. Well, three people, I guess.
She showed up after the rock had done its thing, but I saw this rock pull a dragon out of the sky and obliterate it. And then it looked like it was being used by these evil wizards, and then they were obliterated as well.
Not so much pulled the dragon, it is the dragon. Or should I say it's the dragon's eye.
Oh, maybe it was confusing maybe to me during the vision. And it was so long ago now. I may have gotten confused, but that does make sense.
She nods and says, "What else did you see?"
She said that they don't understand how to use its power. That you have to. I'll start thumbing through a journal. Hang on one second. I'm looking something up. in my notes. She said, in order to use its power, where is it? She needs to keep it away from human foolishness, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Can't find that line.
Bart's gonna pick up a beetle that's on the log and just look at it.
Nice.
Do you eat it?
No, I mean, I'm not a savage.
They don't understand that in order to access their power. Hang on, maybe I'm saying they need to lock you away, but also control you. They needed to control the will in order to be able to access the power. I don't know if the wizards knew exactly what they were dealing with.
Those old fools? No. No, they didn't. They didn't have a clue. They were... And she kind of clams up at that and leaves it at that.
Mother, I just have a feeling something's coming. I have a feeling that the time she spoke of is on the horizon.
That's it.
I mean, the rock said he's gonna Drogue will come to pass. No matter what we do. What is Drogue, Mother? That's one of my questions.
Drogue is an evil force. It's not known in this world. But in your world, they have been fighting to keep it out. Along with the Girangal.
I'll look to Bart and I'll say, I know it doesn't seem like much on the surface, but if you would have been in the vision that I had, if you would have felt what I felt, it's something you can't really explain. It's just there, and it feels like something's coming. And that's why I sought her out.
She nods and says, yeah, Amber. She was
So
a
are we gonna
troublemaker.
Are we gonna do something, or should I just go back home?
She crosses her legs in front of you, kind of cuts a bit, trying to think about what she wants to say and what she doesn't want to say. But she says,
No, you know what? When I can't make up my mind, I flip a coin.
and she smiles at that and says, yeah, I'm not one to leave things to chance quite that much, but I understand. Sometimes it's nice to let the chaos do the work.
Yeah.
She kind of taps.
Pree gives a thumbs up from where she's lying down.
She kind of taps the edge of her fingers, and as she does, you see kind of her fingers go translucent for a few minutes. Or not a few minutes, but for a few seconds. And then kind of this light is on the edge of it for half a second. And then it goes back to normal, and she says, yep, chaos is all around us. And she then starts to draw with a stick and says, look, all right, I'm going to give you guys options. Okay?
Oh no.
I think, honestly, it would be best if I I send you guys to check something for me while I check things in areas where I can go that you can't. And she nods meaningfully at Shin, as if to say, you should know where that is. And she then looks and says, I don't know if they'll let you in, but we could try the Prashina folk. The other option is you guys can head to the north and go back to Animitsu and find out more details, because as I understand it, that's where you came from. Correct?
Me, I came from Veilguard.
Yeah, but that's not where you originated from. You were coming from Animitsu.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Because remember,
That's
you had
right.
the other incident that started up there.
Yep.
Which you haven't mentioned yet, by the way. And she says,
Oh yeah. I wasn't gonna mention that. Not
no,
right
that's
now.
fine. You don't have to. She then says, it's up to you whether you want to come north with me or head northeast and head up there. But it is important that we find out as much as we can before we take any real action. If the two of you, looking at Bart and Pree, are willing, I would like to help this young man on his quest.
Still paying me?
Gareth nods.
Okay.
I'm already here. Whatever.
She smirks to herself, looks at you all, and says, all right, then. Do you want to try and accompany me into the forest?
Mother, I'm pretty much, without going too much into it, I'm lost right now. I've came to you
I mean,
after
of course
this
you're
vision.
lost. You're in the wrong world.
Well,
If when I hear him say he's lost, I flip my coin. Let's see. I'm gonna say even will go with her. We're not going with you. We're going the other way. After I flip my coin, I just say we'll go the other way.
I mean,
We.
sounds like they want to go the other way.
What's this we?
maybe it's not we.
Fine, I'll go the other way. What am I going there? What am I going there for?
We need to get knowledge about Cair Bryn. I'll look back to the mother, or about.
We need to
Where do you know where it is?
She then pulls out from a little satchel that she has a small pendant that she puts in front of you. It is a metal eye with a silver bar underneath the eye, and in the iris of the eye there is a molten looking kind of red and green iris, or not red and green, red and yellow iris, which kind of shimmers and boils like as if it's lava underneath it, basically. And
Did
she
you get
said,
this from Petriff?
no, I got this off the body of the cultist.
Oh, I think he got this from Petriff.
Wait, wait. I'm still wearing mine, and if he says that to me, I'm like, who is Petrus?
He was this merchant that I met in Taunus.
Oh, yeah. It was
Gave me-
either this. It was either this or a love potion.
He gave you a love
It was
potion?
this or a love potion?
No, I didn't. I didn't take it.
Oh, he told me he didn't have anything magic.
No, he said he had no magic rings.
He eluded my. He eluded me. I have to kill him
Pree
next time.
is just laying there, throwing a dagger up in the air and catching it in front of her face.
Okay.
Waiting for you guys to finish. Yakety yak. Everybody's yakety yakking, talking and talking.
Other than Gareth, who hasn't said bupkis at this point.
That's why she likes Gareth. It's nice and quiet.
He also pays her.
That too.
Yeah. So, by the way, she's the rich one. Right. So, the Memorialist looks at you all and says, well, if you're coming with me, we'll have to see if they'll let us in, or should I say let you in. They don't like letting Gareth in.
Oh, is that? I look around. Mother, I thought you wanted us to go gather information.
Well,
but if you want us to go with you, I can.
It's
be
probably
unseen.
wise for us to talk to Prashina folk before you head up that way. They may have more knowledge of this situation.
Okay, that works for me. And I looked at Bart.
I kind of mumble, waste of a flip of a coin if you already knew, and just kind of put my coin away.
She smiles at that, looks down at Pree, and says, well, decision's made, my dear.
Good.
I guess you'll have to get up now.
Fine.
She looks at you
She'll
all.
just sort of backflip up.
Nice. All right. She looks at you all and says, all right, well, if we're heading north and you're coming with me, you must know two things. One, there's a treaty between these folks and the Prashina. If it is broken, you will be killed. If it is broken, it could restart the war. I will be clear and say you better not mess up. 2, when we enter the forest, it will be confusing, might be the word to use, if you need to hold my hand. You understand?
Are we still riding on horseback?
Not right now. You're sitting at the camp, but you,
Or,
as far as you know,
are we
you will
going?
be.
I don't have a horse.
Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have a horse. He'd have to sit on somebody else. So she looks and says, we can take the horses to the edge of the forest, but we can't take them in. They just get befuddled.
How far is the forest?
It is a day's ride north of us.
Would Pree have any knowledge of this forest from her travels?
You know of the Fey Forest, which is an area which is guarded on major routes
History.
to it.
Okay.
But it is not a road that you would go into under normal circumstances. Like as far as you know, it has magical properties that have basically keep people out, and when they get into it, they suddenly find themselves back out as if they'd never gone in. They themselves think that they've traveled, but they really haven't. They come out at the exact same point they came in at. Some will talk about traveling for days and yet still come out at the same point.
Okay.
If anybody wants to roll a history check to know any more information, they are more than willing to do that.
Bloop.
That's pretty good.
18.
Nice.
I figure I'll roll it since they have a treaty with the Prashina.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not very good at history, but
Not very good at history. He just got a 19. Okay. So you both know that the area is patrolled by the Prashina, and they send people across to look out and to deal with any stragglers that come in. The last time anybody had any dealings with the Prashina folk was about 100 years ago when they came down to Taunus and on a peaceful mission, and it was then that they signed the treaty that set up what amounts to a border on the river north of, well, on this map that you guys are looking at currently. It would be north of that river on the far north there. The forest becomes quite a bit thicker. It is looks like a wild growing forest, but yet it does not cross the river.
And if they find us over there, they'll kill us.
If you break the treaty, so basically you have to be allowed in.
Oh, okay.
So the only person who is allowed in without question is the Memorialist. She is free to travel anywhere in this world she wants. But everybody else, they have to be approved. Basically, it's a border guard.
Okay. I just figured with Pree's history, she might know a little more. That's all.
You'll know that, you'll know your parent came from up that way and was one of the ones that returned back north when basically the treaty was signed.
They died.
Okay. That's what you were told.
Yeah. We discussed this! Fine, whatever. That was what I was told. Fine, whatever.
Okay. That's fine. Your parent died. Sorry. I thought we only talked about the one parent dying, not that parent. But okay. Because I know your human parent has died.
Yeah. Well, of old age, but yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't realize the other one had died as well. I'd forgotten that part. It's been a while since we've talked about this, so okay.
I guess. Anyways.
Okay. So if you guys head north, as you do, it becomes night, and you guys are south of what is called Magnus Tower, or Megas Tower. Megas is a wizard's school, basically, that sits in the forest far away from anybody, and where a lot of weird magical things are done, and is built on the site of what used to be an area of high magical, like it was at one time a town where magic was done in ancient times, but has since ceased to exist, and it was eventually covered over, and what was left of it was just basically would be the equivalent of obsidian glass, effectively, if you dug down far enough, but otherwise the area is covered in dirt and is known for basically being a locus point for magic. And as you pass that, you see in front of you a river, which is very fast flowing out to the ocean. It is wide, kind of along the lines of like not quite Mississippi in width, but kind of that's a major river basically, and it travels in basically bordering the entire area, and the entire thing just looks very wild and unkempt. And she looks at you all and says, the horses will have to stay here. The humans can look after them, but realistically, they don't like entering the forest. They don't do well in it anyway, and they will be of no help to us.
Do you have a way for us to get in?
She nods.
Okay, Bart hops off the horse and just kind of taps his foot, kind of waiting.
She gathers off the horse, and Gareth jumps off, and you were seated behind him, by the way, Shin. And they effectively let the horses go. And then you see her wander over to a point by the river just on the edge of the beach, and she reaches down and lifts what looks to be a rock, and you see her mutter something, but you can't tell what it is. And the rock starts to glow, and you see a bridge, a multicolored bridge, expand from the rock across the river. And she says, well, gentlemen and ladies, people of all ages, are you ready to go and take your chances?
I'm ready.
She nods and says, well, hold on to my arm, people, and let's go. And she puts her arm out. She grabs onto Pree's actually first, and then effectively Gareth grabs onto you, Shin, and holds on to Pree's other arm and says, you don't have to hold on to her directly, just hold on to someone holding her, and that works too.
She'll shake his arm off her sword arm and like move it up to her shoulder.
He nods at that as if to acknowledge, and says, that works too. And they lead
I look at
you.
Bart.
What's that?
Oh,
Bart, yeah.
yeah. I'll just. Yeah, I was gonna go up to whoever's in front of me and just kind of put my hand on the back of their shoulder or whatever.
Okay. So you all walk across this bridge. As you do, you see that she's carrying the rock in front of her across the bridge. And as the last person, in this case Bart, crosses, you see the bridge start to drop away behind you, but not faster than you walk.
Oh, well, that's new.
And as you land on the other side of the river, you notice immediately that what you saw on your side of the river is immediately changed. And whereas it looked like a forest, just a normal forest, it is now a thick, dense forest of underbrush and massive trees everywhere. And basically, you can't really get any sort of bearings. It almost sends you into a state of like vertigo would be, I guess, the way I would describe it. And with that, we're going to have to find out next time what happens when they get into the forest. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can do that here, and you can watch the latest video up here. And if you want to know more about what we do, be sure to check out distractionsmedia.com.